Edmund the General, also known as the brand, coming at you guys again with rants. It's been a long time since I've been doing rants, I've been trying to keep my channel active by just posting things here and there, answering questions according to people's comments, leaving their comments in certain videos. I got this disgruntled person in the chat room, showing the comment section, inquiring about one of the products I reviewed, so I may do a part 2 to that one. Who knows? If I got time. I've just been busy. Let's get into it. Toronto man admits to killing 2 strangers but pleads not guilty to murder. I don't know how that's even possible. I don't understand that. Unless if you... Oh, by the way, I'm looking into this for the first time. So if this is your first time even hearing about somebody getting murked in Toronto and admitted to doing 2 bodies for the first time, I'm as bewildered as you, because I'm getting this for the first time. So we're both absorbing this information together, both you and I. All right, Richard Jonathan Edwin admitted in a Toronto courtroom Tuesday that he had fatally shot 2 strangers in random, unprovoked attacks 2 days apart from each other in April 2022, but pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder due to a mental disorder. So we're going through this again. People committing crime and then blaming it on a mental disorder. Is this really happening? I can go off and I can start dropping bodies here and there. I can make a lot of people fall. And then at the end of that crime spree, I could just simply say, well, I suffer from XYZ. I have a mental disorder. I have no idea what I was doing, or I couldn't help what I was doing because I got this condition. Then everybody would be doing that. I don't know. I can't honor this. At the opening day of the judge alone trial, Superior Court Justice Jane Kelly said the issue she must decide is whether Edwin is not criminally responsible. If Kelly decides he is criminally responsible for one or both attacks, she must then decide whether the attacks were first or second degree murder. Kind of looks like the lawyer has to be good. It kind of sounds as if the lawyer better have some great doctors, some convincing ones, some credible ones. Sounds like it. According to an agreed statement of facts read out in court by Assistant Crown Attorney Sandra Duffy, Edwin was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 2010 when he was 28. Interesting. Kelly told Edwin before entering his plea that 2 forensic psychiatrists are expected to testify. Kelly said one doctor who assessed Edwin for the defense is expected to tell the court that her findings suggest Edwin was not criminally responsible at the time of the shootings. Wow. Ever thought about bodying somebody? Keep it real. Have you ever thought about, yo man, I gotta take out this person because of whatever reason that you have to justify your actions as to why you should actually body that person? Ever thought about that? And then have you ever thought about what you could do to get away with it? Where would you leave the body? How would you dispose of it? Where would you go? Have you ever thought about stuff like that? I'm asking because, like, it kind of feels as if this person's gonna get away with murder. And this isn't the first time that I've seen or heard of a case like this. Okay, it's not about the action that you've done. It's about the lawyer. I swear there was a show like that. They broke it down perfectly. Getting Away with Murder or something like that. With some black lawyer. She said it. I forget how she positioned the words, but it was somewhere along the lines of it's about what you're saying when you're presenting your case in the court and how convincing that you are to persuade the people. That's how you're going to get away with murder. So have you thought about doing something like that? Keep it real. Because if you can get a good lawyer and if you can get a great doctors on your team, you can pretty much get away with anything. It kind of feels like it. Meanwhile, the forensic psychiatrist for the Crown is expected to testify that her assessment does not support the findings of not criminally responsible, said Kelly. Defense lawyers Tyler Smith and Caitlin Matthews told Kelly it is not anticipated that Edwin will testify. Interesting. The first shooting, wearing an olive, navy blue, and white windbreaker style jacket, the accused sat quietly in the prisoner's box listening to the facts. By way of background, Duffy told court on April 7, 2022 that Edwin, who was 40 at the time of the killing, leased a small bachelor apartment number 103 at 83 Spadina Road. He legally owned 4 firearms and possessed a rifle. Legally. Legally. That day, Duffy told court Edwin was captured by numerous surveillance cameras traveling to Sherborne subway station, where he shot 21-year-old Kartik Vasudev before returning to his apartment. A video chronology shown in court captured Edwin walking north and south between 81 and 83 Spadina Road at 4:35 p.m. At the time, he was wearing a gray toque, a navy blue puffer jacket, a gray dress shirt, ripped faded blue jeans, two-toned black and white cream shoes, and was carrying a gray backpack with black piping. He was also carrying a loaded black handgun, which he had concealed. Edwin then continued south along Spadina towards Bloor and Spadina subway entrance before entering the station. At 4:49 p.m., Edwin boarded an eastbound train and rode the subway to Sherborne Station. He exited at approximately 4:55 p.m. using the Glen Road exit with stairs leading up to Bloor Street. Edwin is seen pacing in the area near the stairs. At 4:58 p.m., Edwin can be seen walking towards the Glen entrance in Vasudev's direction. As Vasudev reaches by the way, if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, I apologize. As Vasudev reaches the base of the stairs to Bloor Street, Edwin reemerges from the rear of the Bloor staircase and rushes past him. Edwin then turns around to face Vasudev's back, withdraws a loaded firearm, and fires several times in the direction of the 21-year-old man. As Vasudev falls to the ground, Edwin runs south on Glen towards Howard Street. Mr. Edwin turns around, stops, and faces Mr. Vasudev, who is lying injured at the base of the Bloor Street staircase. Mr. Edwin raises his arms and fires more shots in Mr. Vasudev's direction, Duffy said. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't think this guy has a mental disorder. Let's entertain the thought that he probably went to the army and that he went through some form of trauma that was over there. You would hear stories, you would see movies, you would read things here and there about these people who are going through these traumatic events and who do go through events that involve maybe killing, strangling, hurting someone, causing harm to others. running down on somebody and letting off, and then standing over and letting off a few more. Okay, I don't know. Remember, the psychiatrist said that they don't find that the person is it's a mental disorder. That's the premise. It's a mental disorder. Numerous civilian eyewitnesses saw and or heard Edwin firing his gun multiple times towards Vasudev. None of the civilians who witnessed the killing could point to any events precipitating the shooting. After the shooting, Edwin turned south on Glendon, west on Howard, and then southbound on Sherborne. He removed his toque and puffer jacket before boarding a westbound bus on Wesley Street towards Wesley Station. If you got schizophrenia, do you? I don't know. He then boarded a subway at Wellesley Station and traveled to Spadina Station, exiting the station at 5:31 p.m. before returning to his apartment. A post-mortem examination found that Vasudev, an international student from India who was studying at Seneca College, suffered gunshot wounds to the back, right lung, neck, right buttock, chest, liver, and lower leg. This is horrible. This is horrible. The second shooting. 2 days later, on the 9th of April, Edwin was captured by numerous surveillance cameras traveling to the location where he shot 35-year-old Elijah Mahepath and then left the location and returned to his residence. You know what's crazy? You know, there's like pure murders and shots and shootings that happen around Toronto, right? Now, there was a shooting that happened over on Eglinton and Oakwood. Now, 6 shots let off. You mean to tell me that there's no cameras around anywhere that could show anything? What makes this guy so significant that they were able to book this guy, put him on trial, and probably set him off to the wolves, maybe put him down? Everybody has a dad. You know what, I better speak for myself and for my neighborhood. In my neighborhood, we all have cameras. We all have those doorbell cameras, those ringers. Everybody does. Is it the neighborhood? On Eglinton and Oakwood, is there not enough cameras around there to survey who did the killing? Who did the shootings? I remember even once I was walking towards Vaughan and Oakwood. This was like years and years ago, and I saw that the place was like all taped off, but the body was right in front of the fire station. So I asked the boy them, and I'm like, what happened here? Like, he goes, yeah, we just, somebody died because of some kind of a gang thing. Okay. I already know that there's 2 gangs going on when it comes to Eglinton and Oakwood, or I think those are the Crips, and then the Bloods are over there on Oakwood and Vaughan. It's too close. It's like, it reminds me of Chicago. The gangs are too close to each other, so there's gonna be strife. You can't tell me that there was no camera at the police at the fire station to do a rewind to see exactly what happened. Come on. I don't know. A compilation of video surveillance captured Edwin entering the Spadina TTC station just after 6 p.m. Edwin was wearing a gray toque, blue mask, gray patterned shirt, jeans, and black loafers with beige laces. He had a loaded black handgun concealed in his waistband. Edwin boarded the subway and traveled to Queen Station before exiting the station at 6:25 p.m. and walking to Dundas Street and Sherborne, where he arrived around 6:55 p.m. Sherborne. Around the same time, Mahepath disembarked from a TTC bus at the corner of Sherborne and Dundas and walked west on Dundas, slightly behind Edwin. At 6:58 p.m., Mahepath passed Edwin, who continued to walk west along Dundas. There was no intersection between the two men. Edwin turned his body to look behind him. Mahepath continued to walk in front of Edwin. An ambulance can be seen on surveillance rushing by both men. There was no audio on the surveillance video. Just as the ambulance drove by, Edwin ran and reached into the left side of his pants under his gray patterned dress shirt. He withdrew a gun from his left waistband and raised it with both hands. Edwin fired the gun towards the back of the unsuspecting Mr. Mahepath, said Duffy. Edwin shot Mr. Mahepath multiple times. Mr. Mahepath fell on the ground. Mr. Edwin continued to shoot Mr. Mahepath after he had fallen to the ground. This personal? What's going on here? This like a mission that he was on? He was assigned to go on a mission and kill these two people. Did he get paid for this? Like schizophrenia? Edwin can be seen jogging westbound. Anyways, let me get after. After the shootings, people are captured on video surveillance looking at Mahepath, who is crouched on the sidewalk but not stopping to help. This is not China. People, you are allowed to help somebody who you see that's in distress. Put down the cell phone. Go help that person. Man, woman, child. You're trying to tell me that if this was a kid that was crouched on the ground, y'all want to do nothing? Just gonna leave him be? This is crazy work. This is the world is becoming more and more selfish. It's becoming disgusting. Help. What will help look like in the future? Because we're seeing an example now. There's no help. Alright, I forgot what I was saying. Well, yeah, I think I was talking about no help. Yeah. Yeah, people are captured on video looking at Mahepath, who was crouched on the sidewalk but not stopping to help. Minutes later, a taxi pulls over on Dundas Street and stops close to where Mahepath was on the ground. It's not clear if he called 911. Edwin can be seen jogging westbound away from the scene on Dundas, eventually removing his gray toque. At one point, he can be seen taking off the shirt he was wearing and stuffing it into a gray grocery bag that he was carrying. He continued walking on Jarvis Street towards Shutter Street, having changed into a brown or green colored pullover shirt. Yo, for them to chronologically see what he was doing, all this is captured on video, so I'm gonna suspect that it's like videos, like cameras from up above, doorbell cameras, to see all that and to replay what he's saying. Ah, damn. Edwin then entered Queens subway station. Obviously there's cameras over there. Edwin then entered Queens subway station and boarded a subway train towards Spadina station. At 7:43 p.m., Edwin exited Spadina station at Bloor and returned home. An autopsy found that Mahepath died from gunshot wounds to his right back and left buttocks. That's crazy. The same evening at 8:07 p.m., a police officer who was conducting surveillance on Edwin and his residence at 83 Spadina Road. About 24 minutes after Edwin had arrived home following the shooting of Mahepath, saw Edwin dispose of a gray knotted grocery bag in the garbage bins, which were located just north of his residence. Shortly thereafter, another officer retrieved 2 knotted grocery bags from the garbage bins, as well as the navy blue puffer jacket and gray backpack with black piping. The jacket and backpack seized had been worn by Edwin at the time of April 7th shooting of Vasudev. Where was I? The grocery bags contained clothing Edwin had worn during the April 7th and 9th shootings, including a grade 2 gray dress shirt, ripped faded blue jeans, and black loafers with beige laces. On April 10th at 8:35 p.m., officers arrested Edwin in his residence. After obtaining a search warrant, officers found 5 firearms in the apartment. A forensic scientist with the Center of Forensic Science compared the markings from the fire projectiles recovered from the scenes of the April 7th and 9th incidents with test fires from one of the firearms seized in Edwin's apartment. She found that the projectiles found at the shootings were fired from the same firearm, a 9mm Luger caliber Smith & Wesson semi-automatic pistol. The firearm was registered to Richard Jonathan Edwin and was in his residence during the police search. The serial number on the firearm was obfuscated. Define. Obfuscated, render obscure, unclear, or unintelligible. The spelling changes with deform some familiar words and obfuscate their etymological origins. So to obfuscate, I'm saying this wrong, I'm sorry. So to obfuscate is to be evasive, unclear, or confusing, or to make something obscure or difficult to understand. Alright, well, the serial number on the firearm was obfuscated. Alright, well, there we go. There was no evidence of any precipitate. Oh my goodness. There was no evidence of any precipitating events before the shooting of Mr. Mahepath. There was no interaction with the victim prior to the shooting, said Duffy. Jitesh and Pooja Vasudev. Kartik Vasudev's parents flew in from India for the trial, which is expected to continue on Wednesday. Now, this post was on the 14th of October. Today is the 16th of October. Let's see if there's anything new in the past hour or so. Joseph Eric Albin. Let me just type that in. Joseph Edwin. Alright, where was I? I think I was looking up to see if there's anything new. So it says that psychologist. This is how I know I need sleep. I can't even pronounce simple words. Psychologist who assessed Toronto man seeking NCR defense for murder. Okay, so a forensic psychologist who assessed a Toronto man who has admitted to killing 2 strangers in April 2022 says Richard Edwin was not faking his illness during their meeting. Dr. Stephanie Penny testimony Wednesday offered the first glimpse, so that was yesterday by the way, first glimpse into the life of Edwin, a 43-year-old high school graduate whom she found demonstrated ongoing symptoms of depression and anxiety, as well as positive symptoms of psychosis. Penny also concluded Edwin demonstrated low nonverbal skills, which could indicate a cognitive loss secondary to the onset of his ongoing mental illness. Edwin has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder. His lawyers argue he should be found not criminally responsible due to a mental disorder, specifically schizophrenia, that rendered him incapable of understanding his actions were wrong. What was all that about? You run down on somebody, you pull out the burner, you let off shots, and you keep going while he's on the ground, and you don't know what you're doing? What could have been happening inside of your mind to not... I'm probably looking at this all wrong. I am probably not being as empathetic as I should be based off of the circumstances, because a psychologist has clearly stated he wasn't in his right mind. He didn't know what he was doing. I probably might be looking at this all wrong. Edwin has admitted that on April 7th, 2022, he took the TTC to Sherborne Station and shot 21-year-old Kartik Vasudev multiple times as they crossed paths. Vasudev, an international student from Seneca College, had no prior interaction with Edwin. Edwin fled the scene, taking a bus and subway back to his bachelor apartment on Spadina Road, north of Bloor Street. 2 days later, on the 9th, Edwin also admitted to taking the subway to Queen Station, then walking to Sherborne and Dundas Streets, where he shot 35-year-old Elijah Mahepath from behind multiple times before fleeing. Surveillance video confirmed the two had not interacted prior to the shooting. Alright, where was I? According to an agreed statement of facts, Edwin, a registered gun owner, was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 2010 at age 28. Yo, what if you're getting these these licenses? Is there some form of screening that's done? Dr. Penny said she interviewed Edwin and administered 3 standardized tests for malingering on May 13th, 2025. The assessment was done at the request of forensic psychiatrist Dr. Lisa Ramshaw, retained by the defense. Penny concluded there were no consistent evidence to suggest Edwin was making deliberate attempts to feign or exaggerate symptoms of mental illness. Edwin told her he had not taken medication in years and was not experiencing any symptoms of schizophrenia. Penny noted that such a report was atypical and that people with schizophrenia rarely stop experiencing symptoms without treatment. During cross-examination, Assistant Crown Attorney Sandra Duffy questioned Penny about a section of a report suggesting Edwin may also suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. Why was he killing? Penny agreed Edwin had told her he experienced a past traumatic event that caused ongoing anxiety. Let's look up schizophrenia. Like, what could possibly... where was I? Schizophrenia. Let's look this up. Any group of a mental health condition tending to have a serious impact upon personal, interpersonal, and occupational functioning, of which typical features are the occurrence of hallucinations and delusions, eccentric speech and behavior, and diminished emotional expression and purposeful activity. Schizophrenia. Killing. Homicide committed by a person with schizophrenia is a rare event, with studies reporting that 6% of homicides in England are committed by these individuals. It is, however, important to examine the specific risk factors for homicide in this patient population, which is at elevated risk of committing homicide. Although the majority of patients with schizophrenia are not actually violent, An increased tendency toward violent behavior is known to be associated with schizophrenia. There are several factors to consider when identifying the subgroup of patients with schizophrenia who may commit violent or aggressive acts. Very interesting. Very interesting. Penny clarified that her malingering assessment, alright, that's already read all that. Edwin's mother is expected to testify Thursday, which is today. Which is today. Yeah, so those are the circumstances with Edwin. I don't know. After what I just read about the definition of schizophrenia, anyone's ever been murked, 6% chance. I'd have to do a deep dive because if that number is 6%, man, and that's too low to come to a conclusion, and for the Lord to use that as a catalyst to help her case. Now we're gonna get the mother to come through. What's that gonna do? Oh, you know what? That might be valid. Might see exactly where she's at, but of course she's gonna get coached. She'll be coached severely. So we'll see what's gonna happen with that. I might keep an eye on this one because it's very interesting. Very interesting. The stats that I read even earlier on pertain to England, nothing to do with Canada. I know how some people are particular. They'll say, well, those results are only because it's out in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, where everything counts, right? So we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna keep a close eye on this one and probably might do some updates along the way. All right, I'm done. Edmund the General signing out. Peace.